Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Saturday, July 18th. I hope you're ready for, a fair amount of live streams this morning. I don't know if you know this, but Saturdays, we always do the daily financial news. No difference there. We do that 7 days a week for you. But at 8 o'clock Pacific, I will go through and answer 2 pages of questions from subscribers. If you don't know, we do a daily show, and if we get a certain number of thumbs up, I go ahead and spend an extra hour with you Saturday just answering your questions. So we hit it, and I'm going to give you an hour of my time. And then from there, if you happen to be watching this and you're one of my students, we go right over to a private Facebook group where we get just us. We answer questions, talk about your homework, do all of those things. So Saturday mornings are fun for me. It's almost 2 hours of talking, so that's a lot of talking. But I've got my coffee and we are good to go. The other thing that was interesting I saw yesterday, we had a video that almost had 900 views in 24 hours, and that's nothing for the big shots out there. But for someone who's just trying to give back, make a difference, provide real value versus comic entertainment, it was a big day, at least for me. So thank you for all of that. So on to the daily news. First and foremost, I really wish we were back to just talking about the China trade war. Remember that phase 1 discussion? I don't know, what was that, like the last quarter of last year? Boy for the good old days, huh? It looks like the China and U.S. Relationship is becoming more interesting. It is certainly shaping up to be our generation's Cold War. Right, the last Cold War, if you're too young to remember, was obviously with Russia. It wasn't fought on the battlefield, nor do I think this one will. It will be fought with currencies and economies and consumers and relationships and all of that. And it will not be fought in days, weeks, or months. It will be fought in decades. So this is something we're going to have to watch. It is going to have to watch for what happens to the consumer, right? Do we see inflation, perhaps? Do we see this get really, really sour and suddenly China kicks out Apple and other companies? I mean, there's lots of ways this could go. I'm certainly not foreseeing China kicking Apple out. I was just using that as an example of how bad it could get. I think Apple and other tech companies that do manufacturing in China are net positive to China because China needs employers. But I'm just saying, it could get that wacky, right? So we got to watch that. Next up, I just read a note. There's 4.1 million folks in forbearance. This is just the government forbearance, not private money forbearance or private mortgage forbearance. But as I shared, I think it was 2 weeks ago, people are starting to get that kind of knock, knock. It's been 90 days, time to pay up. Now, if you're in the government forbearance, there's obviously been additional tweaks to it where you can take the what is owed and stick it on the end as a second and all of those things. But that's not true for the private side. And it's going to get messy from here. And you can only delay so long. What do you do, right? So something definitely to watch. We definitely have to watch the consumer in small, medium business, I think, in the second half. I think this consumer in general is getting a lot of cross currents. I've said for a while, we've been very good at kind of hiding pain, kind of trying to stimulate the economy. And it's worked in the first half. Look at retail sales, look at these things. Look at savings rate, look at all these things. I don't know if we're going to have the appetite to do that again in the second half. So let's watch the consumer. Also, though, we got to watch small and medium business. Those PPP loans that we were raving about, again, 90 days ago or 60 days ago are running out. What happens to unemployment, right? Do those people who took the PPP loan looking for forgiveness. Now let those employees go. Right? We are entering a messy time that I'm afraid is going to be at best uncomfortable, but likely painful. So let's just appreciate, we need to watch the consumers and small and medium business because that is our economy. So it will be interesting to watch. And that really goes to something I'm watching for on Thursday. We've had 16 or 17 weeks of new unemployment claims over 1 million. We have seen, I think it's 14 weeks of declining claims, although the one that just posted was barely declining. I think it was 10,000. I'm a little nervous that we're going to come off that. And if we come off that and, it was 1.3 last week and it's 1.6 this week, right? This upcoming week, that's going to be a structural change and worth following. So that is definitely something I'm looking at for the week. But this week's a big earnings week. We are jumping right into the first full week of earnings announcement. This week and next week, typically this upcoming week and then the next week are very busy earnings. So I took a couple of down Monday through Friday to sort of share. Monday is IBM, kind of old tech. What's going on with their move to cloud? They have a big consulting practice. They just changed CEO, I think, the last 6 months or so. It's going to be interesting to see what's going on with old tech. I don't have warm and fuzzies there, but who knows? Tuesday is interesting because it has Coke and United. Coke is kind of, for me, the opposite of Pepsi. Pepsi had a good quarter, but it was really because of their snacking business. I suspect Coke will be hurt because they get a lot of it from restaurants and events and things of that nature. And I just think it's hard to replace that lack of demand. United, just how bad is it going to be? I saw somebody expect $8.76 a share loss. Man, the airlines. Whew, we will see. Wednesday's a big day. Tesla is going to announce. We'll see what happens there. Microsoft, Mr. Softy as they call it, is going to announce. Good mix between old tech, new tech. Again, we'll see what's going on there. Thursday's a big day for me. I think we see kind of three things. Twitter is going to come out, kind of new tech, and see how ads are going, things of that nature. Tractor Supply, there's a company I never thought I would talk about. But with the rush to the suburbs and the wanting to garden and do those outdoor activities, I think they are going to have the wind at their sails. They are a unexpected stay-at-home stock that I'll be watching. And then Southwest Airlines, where United and American are tough. I think Southwest it's a great company, I think, as far as airlines go. With their kind of short-haul flights, they don't have the international risk. I think if there's any airline that's going to come back, I don't know if it's fastest or first or whatever you want to call it, it's probably Southwest. But this environment for airlines where capacity is down 70, 80, 90%, you just can't make money there. But I'll be looking at Southwest, probably trying to compare it to United and see if there's a divergence. Because again, I think local travel is it, right? Much of the world is, telling Americans stay away, right? I thought that was funny. I think it was 2 weekends ago where some rich Americans chartered a private jet to Italy, and Italy said, no thanks, turn around, go home. Don't you think you would have checked that first? That seemed like an expensive flight, but whatever. And then Friday, we got Amex and Verizon. I'm going to look for Amex because of the credit cards, that is the one that's kind of the rich, if you will. What are the rich doing? Are they down transaction-wise? What's going on? And then Verizon, again, a classic stay-at-home stock. So we will see what's going on there. But yeah, Thursday, unemployment claims is a big deal we talked about. Also, it looks like there's a big report coming out Monday from AstraZeneca. They're basically reporting numbers in a peer-reviewed article from Oxford University about their phase 1 data, which is interesting because they're already in phase 3, but now they're reporting phase 1. It'll be interesting. It has a chance to be more market moving than Moderna's first announcement. Remember that one where they talked about 4 people or some silly ass number, and then they went out and sold stock and the executives cashed in? Bad. Sour taste. AstraZeneca went a totally different direction. They're already in phase 3 and they're just coming out with their phase 1 data because they had it peer reviewed and all of that. So I will be looking to see if there's anything market moving. Is it preventative? Is it care? Is it, what's going on? So it will be interesting to watch. I think we do need to get ready for a nasty stimulus battle, right? Number 4 or number 5, depending on how you count it. One's, sometimes they call one a 3.5, but whatever. It's either number 4 or 5, right? Do they extend the unemployment benefits? If they do, how much, right? And for how long? Is there a back to work bonus? Do we help the cities and states? Is there a payroll tax cut? Do we help small and medium-sized business with a repeat or a twist on PPP? Do we send everybody some more money like that $1,200 check? There's a lot of stuff that's going to be hitting our collective feeds. I suspect it is going to be nasty and I don't know, unproductive. I don't know what to say. But they have a very short window. A lot of this stuff kind of expires at the end of this month, and really a lot of it expires end of next week. But yeah, this is important, right? The second half, as I started, will be messy and probably painful. This stimulus check is going to, I don't want to call it stimulus check. This stimulus push is going to tell us how bad. I think it's painful or messy regardless. But if nothing gets done, or it's too small, or they just keep throwing stuff at each other and don't help the American people, it's going to really amplify what's going on. So let's hope they put egos aside, they put red, blue, Republican, Democrat aside, and they take care of us. One thing I will say is I hope they don't just send out $1,200 to everyone. I think that's not a good use of our future dollars. 80% of us, or 75, or whatever the number is, are still employed. So let's try to help. Let's help the ones that need it the most is what I would like. But what do I know? So that's what I got for you today. That's the Saturday news. We got a big week ahead of us. I'm going to shut this down, get us ready for an hour of just answering your questions. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.